One of your recent projects that you have launched and talked about is the lipstick AR bar, which is in some of the duty-free shops within airports. Is that something that you can talk to us more about?
Absolutely. So the idea that travel is not necessarily only limited to and the travel experience is not necessarily limited to the aircraft itself, but it's an entire travel thread, if you like. So linking those individual elements from the moment that you plan travel up to when you arrive at the destination and even beyond that. That is something that we call in the travel industry the connected travel experience. We were particularly, because we have been working for 15 years now with airlines, looking at the experience in the cabin. We were looking to expand the area in which we worked in also to the ground. So naturally, we were talking to duty-free resellers and resellers. The idea that specific retail operations would benefit from our expertise and experience in the airline industry sort of came to a very happy end when we started working with Heinemann, which are the biggest duty-free operators in Europe. And not necessarily globally, but at least European, they have a very strong presence. And we created a number of applications at Copenhagen Airport. They have chosen Copenhagen specifically because it is one of their largest operations in Northern Europe. But at the same time, the demographic is incredibly interesting. Design savvy, social media enabled, and very knowledgeable, a very young, mobile travel pack, if you like, but combined as well with very well-heeled, let's say, middle-agers and older people who love to shop but nonetheless being like quite digitally sort of interested and using all these digital methods. So we created an area that is called the Look Lab, and within the Look Lab we also created a number of digital AR experiences, and one of them in particular has been very successful, and that is the lipstick bar, indeed. If you don't mind, I'm going to shift to our virtual showroom so that I can give you a bit more insight into that, and I'm going to share my screen. Yeah, so we switch now to our virtual showroom. This is a very new technology. We've only launched it mid-December of last year, and we have set this up to allow interested parties to have a look at what we have to offer in the immersiveness, in the immersive space altogether. And because we were talking about retail solution, I'm going to focus now on what we created for Heinemann at Copenhagen Airport. I will be just like running in the background a video while I talk about this specific project here. So I mentioned the lipstick bar, which is an AR application on iPads, and basically the passengers can try on virtually a number of different lipsticks, and we're also making quite a distinction between the different types of lipsticks. So not only color, but we have 5 different types of lipsticks as well, which the different brands define the lipstick as. For instance, glossy, matte, transparent, translucent. And all those different types of characteristics are being shown in real time on the passengers, on the clients' faces on the lipstick. Particularly, obviously, younger passengers and travelers love to test this out, and we've seen an increase of about 50% in the sales of specific products. Also, the interesting element of all of this is that we've included a social media element to all of this. So whenever a passenger or a client wants to create a snapshot of that, creates a screenshot of it, takes a picture, and that picture can also be sent via email, but it can also be posted via the social channels of the Look Lab and Heinemann, the duty-free retailer. And a nice feature in this entire setup is that we have a large LED installation, and then those images can be shared immediately, as I said, via Instagram or some other social media platforms. But also those images can be shown immediately on the large screen installation in the airport. So it's a very nice touch to kind of like engage the audience, not to make it only a singular experience as such, but also engage others. The interesting element as well is that the sales people would use a version of that, a sort of a pared down version of the application on smaller devices, on iPhones, which they carry around so that they can engage with people and clients as well outside of this Look Lab zone that we created in Copenhagen Airport. So we've seen as well quite an increase in activity and sales on the basis of this decentralized kind of communication and the approach the sales people can have on the floor of the shops using AR. Yeah, so it's been very successful in Copenhagen, and we're currently running this at 4 other locations. Obviously, before the pandemic, it was much easier to set up and for it to be operated. But obviously, like now, as travel starts to recover and we're seeing more and more passengers traveling and flying, this will certainly also expand as well. And we're looking to expand at other locations as well. The interesting element with this application is that Heinemann in particular, being a retailer of a number of different brands, was looking to create a solution that was very specialized to their needs and very adapted to their needs. And most of the large brands would have their own applications, but they would not necessarily allow the inclusion of other brands within their application. Hence, it had to be a custom created application so that this particular retailer would use the application across different types of brands. So yes, it was a development for them in-house. It's a platform that they're using now and can be deployed. It comes with real-time statistics and analytics, as one would expect. So that was the other very interesting element to their retail operation. Having created this Look Lab as a digital innovation hub for them, it was the first time that they were exposed to real-time analytics when it comes to the shop floors as such, and the performance and the interaction with the clients. So on one hand, it's let's say enhancing the experience. It's making it a lot more interesting, and in our case also like a lot more hygienic, to test out lipsticks. But at the same time, it also allows, let's say, from a business perspective, a much better integration of such platforms into the way in which the retailers would operate, and also measure their success.
Fantastic. So you've got really immersive, interactive experience for the consumer
Correct.
who get ultimately a better match, a better, color and experience before purchasing the product. You get user-generated content, which can be shared and kind of on social channels, but also out in the airport itself for kind of instant attraction. And then you've got the stats and all the metrics behind it, so the client can start to understand what the interactions are, what the dwell time is, what are the translation into a purchase is, and things like that, all wrapped into one.
Yes. And then the direct consequence of that is that the retailer is also fine-tuning the specific products and the lipsticks according to the very special market conditions, like in a specific country or airport. So we've seen that they, like every month or 2 months, they would then switch to specific other brands, or specific colors, trend colors as well. So it's a very flexible way of approaching it. And obviously, all of this is being done and updated remotely. And then it's becoming a real tool and an asset in the, let's say, in the repertoire of a retailer of increasing sales.